Hello and welcome to another episode of the News on Map series. We have already covered 6 episodes prior to this, and all these 6 episodes we tried to cover whatever places have been in the news for the past many weeks. And if you are new to this particular episode, do have a book of maps, that is Atlas, or you should also have Google Maps. For better precision, I think digital maps work better. So let's begin with the first question. And the first question was actually a practice question. Whoever have answered it correctly, you can confirm your answer from this particular explanation. And whoever got it not correct, it's okay. You can do it better next time. So the question of the practice question for the last segment, we talked about this particular question which said, recently there have been reports of political turmoil from this country. And it is a landlocked country which is influenced by the Sahara climate in the north. So many important segments that we can pick from these lines is that it is landlocked. Okay, so you can eliminate those countries which are not landlocked, and they are influenced by Sahara climate. That means desertification is also there, and that is in the north. And there is savanna-like climate in the south. So grassland type of climate in the south and desertified climate in the north. The Niger River passes through almost its entire winding course from west to east. Another thing, Niger River passes from west to east and from its winding course, but does not pass through the land area. It doesn't pass through the land area. This country is included in the countries through which the prime meridian passes. So we have so many brownie points from this question itself. Whenever there is a big question like this, we can at least pick one of the sentences that will correctly be targeted towards the countries which are given over here. So, if we talk about the maps, first let's pick out that it is one of the countries from which the prime meridian passes. If we talk about prime meridian passing through the continent of Africa, it passes through Algeria, also Mali. It also passes through Togo, okay, Burkina Faso and Ghana. Okay, if I'm missing any country, you can comment about it in the comment segment. So Algeria, Mali, then we have Togo, Burkina Faso, and this is Ghana. Okay, so these are the many countries. Now next thing we know of is that Chad is mentioned over here, but through Chad, prime meridian doesn't pass. Okay. Then we have now 3 countries left, Mali, Ghana and Burkina Faso. Now what is it saying? That it is a landlocked country. Another very important thing, landlocked country. Let's see. Now among the given options, when we talk about landlocked countries, Ghana is not a landlocked country. It is opening out in the Pacific Ocean. So is Togo. Alright. So now we can eliminate Ghana and of course, Mali. Let's see about Mali and Burkina Faso. So, if we talk about Mali, yes, Mali is a landlocked country and so is Burkina Faso. This is also correct. Now, let's see what else we can think about it. Yes, if we talk about the Sahara climate, Mali is also affected by the Sahara climate and so is Burkina Faso. But the turmoil reports where we talk about military coup is in Burkina Faso. The country has been in the news for these many reasons. And the Niger River passes through the winding course from west to east, but does not pass through the land area. Let's see where the Niger River is. So if we talk about Niger River, you can see from here comes Niger. And it is going from west to east. But Burkina Faso is one of the countries from which it does not pass. Alright, so Burkina Faso, and if we have to choose between Mali and Burkina Faso, of course we are going to choose Burkina Faso. So the correct answer to this question is option D, Burkina Faso. Okay, I hope you got it correctly. Let's move on to the next question, which is saying that the conflict, we have to first talk about why is it in the news. So the conflict between the United Arab Emirates and the Houthi rebels is continuing, and UAE has recently intercepted a Houthi missile. So this is why we are going to ask this question. Not only one, but many questions can be formulated from similar news. And certain important regions which are very much in the news, specifically Arabian Peninsula, West Asia, Middle East basically, from the Western perspective, and Ukraine, all these countries have been in the news for quite a period of time. Okay, so let's begin. Which of the following separates the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman? So we have these many options: Sinai Peninsula, Musandam Peninsula, Qatar Peninsula, or none of the above. So if we talk about the map, let's see where the map is. This is the map, okay? And you can see here is the Persian Gulf and here is the Gulf of Oman, okay? So this region is actually separating Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman. And it is not Sinai Peninsula, it is not Qatar Peninsula. It is Musandam Peninsula, okay? So let's see. Musandam Peninsula is to be the right answer, okay? So if we talk about such important regions which are very much in the news, but we might have not heard of it. So similarly, peripheral regions such as Peninsula, any important region which talks about separating one region from another region, although it's not directly in the news, but it is a peripheral part of it, please do see that you know the name. So this is Musandam Peninsula, okay? Now let's talk about the third question, which is saying, with reference to the United Arab Emirates, consider the following statements. So United Arab Emirates is an elective monarchy and it basically consists of 7 important cities. Okay, so it's a group of 7 emirates in which we have Dubai, we have Sharjah, Ajman, we also have Abu Dhabi very importantly, and also 2 others which are actually Al Quwain and Ras Al Khaimah. Okay, so these are the many parts of United Arab Emirates. Alright, so first statement is definitely correct. This one. Whichever option doesn't have one, we can eliminate them. This is elimination as well. Next is Abu Dhabi has the largest area among these emirates, which is very true. Abu Dhabi is a very important commercial coastal city of UAE and it is the largest among the emirates, the 7 emirates which I named. So first and second are correct. So whichever option doesn't have second, we can eliminate them. Now we have only one option left, that is option A, which is of course going to be correct. And the third and the fourth become incorrect, but we have to know about them. The entire coastline of Abu Dhabi is bordered by Gulf of Oman. Let's see. If we see Abu Dhabi here. Okay, so it is entirely lying in the Persian Gulf region and not the Gulf of Oman region. So third of course becomes incorrect, right? Third becomes incorrect. And then we have the fourth statement, the Socotra Islands are a part of UAE. Socotra Islands are actually lying over here, okay? And these are not a part of UAE but Yemen, okay? Socotra is a part of Yemen. So now we can see that third and fourth are not correct, first and second are correct. The correct answer is option A, 1 and 2 only, okay? Like this, we are going to sail through all these questions. Let's move on to the next question, which is saying, before this, we have to know why is it in the news. Recently, Syria intercepted Israeli missiles targeting the capital of it, which is Damascus. So, with respect to this statement, we have the question. Consider the following statements. The famous Al Jazeera plains are spread to its northeast. Okay. Mount Hermon is on to its southwest border, which is the source of Jordan River. Now, these are actually statements which are referring to one country. So, not only you are learning about the important regions of this country, but also you are learning about important sources like Mount Hermon is the source of the Jordan River. So, this is the knowledge we are going to get you through such questions. And the famous Al Jazeera plains are spread on the northeast. The rest of the area is landlocked except for a narrow strip only in the west. Let's see. So these are the many options, okay, with respect to which countries we were talking about those statements. Let's see. Now you see this particular map, okay. This is a map of Syria. Of course, it is written in bold letters. But we have to see that yes, Al Jazeera is in the northeast region, the famous plains. Then this is just for your knowledge, this is Lake Assad, and you see Euphrates is going through it. Okay, Euphrates actually originates in Turkey. Okay, then we have to know that another thing, it said Mount Hermon is in the southwest. Yes, Mount Hermon is in the southwest, right? And that is the source of Jordan River. This is the source of Mount Hermon, is the source of Jordan River. Then, of course, we have to talk about the narrow strip of land which is in the west bank and it is not landlocked. Okay, so all these things are present in the country of Syria. That makes the question, the answer of this question to be option D, Syria. Alright, let's move on to the next question, which has first the news. Demonstrations are taking place in Khartoum, which is the capital of Sudan. And people have died in police action. Few people have died in police action. The border between Rwanda and Uganda that had been closed for 3 days has been reopened. So that is why African important countries and other important countries of Arabian Peninsula, these are very important. Do go through the maps of such regions very frequently. And of course, when I talk about news on maps, this is not a series which is going to make you remember everything. But yes, this is a series if you go through them frequently, because we tend to, of course, frame questions according to the news places that have been in the news. Some places are extremely in constant news. Specifically, we talk about Arabian Peninsula a lot. We talk about African countries a lot. So the static part of that, as well as the in-news part also, you have to be very careful about. Okay, so this is the news. So now we have to see the question, which is saying a person wants to go from Lake Victoria to the Mediterranean Sea through the Nile River. Person has to go from Lake Victoria through the Nile River and has to reach, of course, the Mediterranean Sea. Alright, which of the following countries' capital he must not pass through? These are the many options. To answer this question, we have to, of course, refer to the map. Where is Lake Victoria? Here is Lake Victoria spanning Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. So this is Tanzania, Kenya and Uganda. And this is the Lake Victoria. Okay. So we have to see that the Nile River, I'm just going to erase this for better view. So from here we see Nile River. This is White Nile. Then this is of course Blue Nile. But we have to go from Lake Victoria to Mediterranean Sea and we have to pass through it. Not, the question says pass through. That means we have to go along. So this is the route that we have to take. Okay. And you can see many important cities and capital of the countries are also lying through it. So supposedly we are starting from Uganda. Okay. So from Uganda, you can see this is the city of Jinja, very important city. And the capital of Kampala lies bordering to the Lake Victoria, but it does not have Lake Nile flowing through it. Do you understand? It is situated over here. Of course, this is not very precise, but it borders the Lake Victoria in Uganda. Uganda's capital is Kampala. Alright. And not through Kampala, but through Jinja of Uganda, it is passing through. Then Juba is the capital of South Sudan. Then Khartoum is the capital of Sudan. Alright. And then again, if we go through the Nile River, here we have Cairo. Alright. And then we reach the Mediterranean Sea. So as you can see, only we can talk about one of the countries to be having a capital which does not lie through the river Nile. And that is of course Uganda. You can see from here. Egypt, we have Cairo. Then Sudan and South Sudan. South Sudan we have Juba. And Sudan, as you can see, Khartoum is there and Juba is South Sudan's capital. Very clear about such things because capital cities flourish as they lie very close to the source of water. And Nile has cradled the civilization of Egypt. That is why it is very important to know about this. Let's move on and talk about the next question. Recently, Iraq's Baghdad International Airport was attacked by rockets. And the police have said that there were no casualties, but we see the instability of this region has made Iraq, Iran, Arabian Peninsula, and African countries to be in a lot of news. So, which of the following cities in Iraq is the southernmost? And this city does stay in the news for a lot of period of time. Since a very long period of time, many cities of Iraq have been in the news. So, very important country for us to know from the perspective of map. These are the many options. So, it's not very, it's not something that you are going to be very thorough with. These cities of countries, which is of course not our country, but the cities which have been in the news for a long period of time, you have to be thorough with them. There is no shortcut for that. You have to look through the map and revise it constantly. If you don't look through the map whenever the city or the place has been in the news, it's not going to help you. Okay. So Mosul, Erbil or Arbil, Baghdad and Basra. Okay. So let's see. Where are these countries? Where are these cities? This is the map of Iraq and let's try to locate them. This is Arbil. Okay. At the north region of Iraq. And this is Mosul, right? So, Arbil and Mosul are not southernmost. We can eliminate them. Mosul and Erbil or Arbil. Then very importantly, Baghdad. We have to know about the Baghdad's location. So, Baghdad actually does not lie in the southernmost region. That is, I am sure about. It lies in the central region. It is the capital. So, here is Baghdad. Alright. So, of course, not the southernmost, but we have to comparatively look that another the important one, not Juba, I was going to say Juba, sorry for that. Basra, where does Basra lie? So, comparatively, right now, Baghdad is in the southern region if we compare with these two. But we have to see where is Basra. Okay. So, Basra actually lies over here. Very close to the coast. Okay. So, here is Basra, Baghdad, Erbil and Mosul. Okay. So, our answer becomes Basra. Option D is the correct answer. Let's move on and talk about our next question. Before that, let's know about North Korea and how it has been cornered to such an extent that it is using technology to hype the situation which is already hyped because of China's presence, and it is trying to hype a situation which consists of developing missiles, hypersonic glide missiles, a technology which is very dangerous, specifically in the hands of North Korea, Iran. So, these countries which are in the news because of the usage of the technology, which is actually giving rise to much more armament in the country, we have to be careful with them. Let's move on and talk about this. North Korea has conducted another missile test, and this is the largest trial ever since 2017, 5 years. Experts are calling it Hwasong 12. So, for this, we have to know about the map. This oceanic area is a part of Northwest Pacific Ocean. Alright, first hint. And a closer look will reveal that it would have been a landlocked sea, except for some parts of it. However, it is through this narrow passage that the Tsushima Hot Current, which is a branch of the Kuroshio Hot Current, originate. This maritime region has been the center of geopolitics for a long period of time. So, we know that Japan, North Korea, they lie at a closer region to each other. Before we have to move forward, you have to learn about specific currents very clearly, which are the hot currents and which are the cold currents. So, learn them. Just a trick for you. Something you have to keep in mind whenever you learn the hot and cold currents. Be careful that you remember the hot currents better than the cold currents. So, if you have the filter process of Learning the hot currents, whatever the remaining are will be cold currents. So yes, you can see this is the northwest region of the, I hope it's a northwest, let's see. Yeah, it's the northwest region of the Pacific Ocean. This is the Pacific, South Pacific Gyre. This is North Pacific Gyre, and these are the many currents. Alright, so you see that this is the continent of America, North America, and then South America. This is Australia, and then we have Japan and many other important regions, Taiwan, everything. So northwest region, west, north. Okay, so this is what we are talking about. Okay, then it is seen that the Kuroshio currents are a part of this region. Of course, when we talk about Kuroshio, this is Kuroshio. This is a very small region, right? This is a small region which might look like it is landlocked. A closer look will reveal that it is landlocked. And this has been a part of the geopolitics since a long period of time. We are talking about Sea of Japan, the East Sea. Okay, the Sea of Japan, the East Sea are being dedicated to over here. Let's move on and talk about the next question. Popa Langur has been sighted near Mount Popa, which is a dead volcano in Myanmar. And the langur is included in the list of 224 new species created by WWF. So we have to be very careful with what species are again in the news with respect to their marginalization, with respect to the increase in their count, head count, anything. Any species which have been in the news are important from the perspective of environment and ecology. In which of the following countries is the greater Mekong region extended? China, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam. Okay. Then we have to choose the correct answer using the codes given below. This is the Mekong region. Mekong actually spans through 6 very important countries. The countries which are already in the option along with Thailand. So, before we jump to any conclusion, whatever is clear is apparent in nature. Green one is the upper basin. Okay, these are the upper riparian states. Then we have red ones which are lower riparian states. So, you can see that it spans through these many regions. Thailand was not mentioned in the question. I'm telling you, Thailand is also a part of it. And this is known as the rice bowl of Asia. Mekong region is known as the rice bowl of Asia. Okay. So, very important region for us. All of them are a part of it. The correct answer should be China, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia and Vietnam. Everyone. Every country is a part of it. So, option D will be the correct answer. Alright, let's move on to our next set of news and questions. Now, consider the following statements. If a person wants to go from India to Singapore via land route, then he must, that means he has no other option, go through Myanmar. Now, a person can easily, the word here is easily, enter Laos by sea route and travel to Singapore via Thailand and Malaysia route. So, we have to select the correct statement or statements. So, from where do we have to go? To Singapore we have to go, and we have no other option but to go through Myanmar. That means Myanmar should be the only region which connects the other landmass through which any person has to go from India to Singapore. Okay. So, you see, if we have no other option, then of course, this is going to be the option that we have. Okay. Then reaching Singapore. No. But we also have the option, if we have to go through the land route from India, suppose this is India, then we have China. We can go from China to Laos, then Thailand, then so on and reach Singapore. Okay. So, of course, that is not the case. Myanmar is not going to be the only option. So, one is not correct. Second, a person can easily enter Laos by sea route and travel to Singapore via Thailand and Malaysia route. Again, easily enter Laos by sea route and travel to Singapore via Thailand and Malaysia route. First, we have to see what is the sea route. for India to Laos. What is the sea route? This is the sea route. From somewhere here we have to pass, then we have to go Laos. Why do we have to then go from Laos to Singapore when we have already reached Singapore? So of course this is going to be a very hectic route. We cannot do that. None of them are correct. Neither one nor two. Right? So important land and sea routes should also be taken care of, specifically with respect to South Asia and India's neighbors. Next question. Let's move on. About a dozen people have died due to floods in South American country of Ecuador. Ecuador will be at the receiving end of floods, flood-related diseases as well, because it is a coastal country. And with reference to Ecuador, we have to see the statements. First, it lies completely south of the equator. Second, it is one of the two countries in South America that do not have a border with Brazil. Brazil is a big chunk of South America. So Brazil actually borders every country it can find in its own continent. And it opens out, Ecuador opens out to the Pacific Ocean in the west, while Atlantic Ocean in the northeast. Let's see. First, let's have a look at the map. Yes, this is Ecuador. And it does not completely lie south of the equator. Ecuador and equator. So it doesn't completely, this is 0 degree latitude. Passing through it, the equator. So it has a little part of it which lies north of the equator. Not completely. So first statement, of course, if we talk about it, is incorrect. It is one of the countries in South America that do not have a border with Brazil. Brazil, let's see where Brazil is. Okay, Brazil, huge country, sharing its border with Suriname, French Guinea, Guyana, Venezuela, Cambodia, Peru, Bolivia, Paraguay, Argentina, Uruguay. Now we have, from this map, you can see Chile is one of the countries which doesn't have a border with Brazil. So is Ecuador. Right? So yes, second statement becomes correct. Alright, second is correct. Now third statement is saying it opens out to the Pacific in the west while Atlantic Ocean to the northeast, which is completely incorrect because it lies not to the Atlantic from anywhere but to the Pacific. Okay, so this becomes incorrect. The third statement also is incorrect. First and third are incorrect, only the second is correct, right? So the correct answer should be only 2. Let's move on and talk about our next question, which says that recently, first, the news, the National Tiger Conservation Authority has approved 2 more tiger reserves in Madhya Pradesh, Madhav National Park and Rathapani Wildlife Sanctuary. So, with respect to these only, we are going to talk about our next question. Consider the following pairs. The protected areas, we have to match them where they are found. Madhav National Park, Mahadev Hills, Rathapani Wildlife Sanctuary, Bela Dilla Peak and Achnakmar Amarkantak Biosphere Reserve. So let's see with respect to the map. If we talk about Mahadev Hills, where is it lying? Here. But if we talk about Vindhya Range, it is over here. So Madhav National Park is actually in the Vindhya Ranges and not Mahadev Hills, near the Mahadev Hills. It's in the upper Vindhya Ranges. So first statement becomes incorrect by itself. First pair is not correctly matched. Alright, then we have the second one. Rathapani Wildlife Sanctuary. It is not in the Bela Dilla Peak. Here, if we talk about Bela Dilla Peak, it lies closely with respect to Chhattisgarh. So, in Vindhyachal ranges, Rathapani is also in Madhya Pradesh, lies in the Vindhyachal ranges. Second pair is also not correct. Okay. So, Rathapani and Madhav both lie in the first Vindhyan range and second Vindhyachal. Achnakmar Amarkantak Biosphere Reserve, it spans across Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. And yes, Bahmangarh Peak is a part of it. It lies at the conjunction of many hills. So Bahmangarh Peak is a part of it. So this is correct. Third pair is correctly matched. Only 3 is the correct answer. Okay. So here everything becomes clear to you. Moving on to the next question. There has been a dispute between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka over 𝐾𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢 dam project for the past several days. That is why the next question is in the news. Whenever we have important rivers and its tributaries, any dam is being constructed, you will always have to know about it because it is definitely going to be in the news. No states will ever have an amicable concurrence over such things. So that is why we have to know about them. So dam project and river, 𝐾𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢, Gandhi Sagar Chambal and 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢 Barak. Let's see. If we talk about 𝐾𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢, it is actually a problem between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Not on the Vaigai River, but on the Kaveri River. So the first pair is not correctly matched. Whichever option has 1, we have to eliminate that. 1, all of the above. 1 will also come over here, so we have to eliminate this. Then we have the clear-cut answer, but still we have to see. Gandhi Sagar is yes on the Chambal River in Madhya Pradesh. I am referring to this map because that one doesn't have Gandhi Sagar very clearly. Just wait. Yeah. Here is Gandhi Sagar Dam. Okay. So it's in Madhya Pradesh on the Chambal River. Second pair is correctly matched. Now, another thing we have to know about 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢 is, this is correct. 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢 is actually a very controversial dam and it is in Manipur. Okay, on the Barak River. This is correct. Say third is very correct. But it is a controversy between Bangladesh and India. So whenever international countries are also not having any congruence with respect to such rivers, we have to know the dams and the importance of these rivers. So 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢 is on the Barak River. Somewhere it lies over here. Okay, in Manipur. Alright. So let's move on and talk about our next question, which says, these days the old border dispute between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh is in the news again. Assam, because it shares the borders with so many states of India, which have been taken out. I'm not sure if I'm using the correct word, but yes, Assam, because it was a bigger region, we have to use this word. It was carved out, many states were carved out because they have their own cultural identity. They wanted to be another state which could identify their culture more. So, many states were created after Assam was created, after Assam was there, created by the British India. So, that is why Assam, very important state of India, very important with respect to other states and borders. Assam shares a border with all northeastern states except Sikkim. Let's see. Yes, this is Assam. And as you can see, it shares its borders. West Bengal is not a northeastern country. State. Why am I using this word country? This is state. Okay. So, this is the state of West Bengal sharing a border with Assam. We also have Meghalaya, which is a part of northeast. Then we have Tripura. We also have Mizoram. We have Manipur, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh. And Sikkim, as you can see, lies over here. So, Sikkim does not have a border with Assam. The first statement becomes definitely correct. First statement is correct. Let's see if we can use elimination. Yes, we can eliminate this. Okay. Then the second statement is saying all the states of Northeast India have an international border. Let's see. Almost yes, all the states do have. Yes. Arunachal Pradesh has a border with Tibet and Myanmar as well. Similarly, Nagaland, Manipur and Mizoram are bordering Myanmar, international border. Tripura lies entirely from all three sides. It is surrounded by Bangladesh. So, Meghalaya is also sharing a border with Bangladesh. Yeah. Sikkim, of course, Tibet with Tibet. So, second statement is definitely correct. Whichever statement does not have second, we have to eliminate that. Yeah. So, B and C are eliminated. Second statement is correct. Okay. The way from Arunachal Pradesh to Meghalaya is a direct route and for this there is no need to pass through any other states. From Arunachal Pradesh to Meghalaya. Let's see. From Arunachal Pradesh to Meghalaya. There is no direct route. Where do you see? We have to pass through Assam. If we have to go from here, we have to pass through so many states. If we have to go through here again. So, no, there is no direct relation. Third is not correct. So, here we have to eliminate this. And 1 and 2 will be the only correct statements. Let's move on and talk about the next question. And according to a report, pollution continues to increase in Yamuna, and because of that, domestic sewage is very responsible for the waste in it, 80% of the pollution in it. So, through which of the following states does the Yamuna River pass? Yamuna originates from Yamunotri Glacier in Uttarakhand, and of course, Uttarakhand will be one of our answers. In the route, we also have many other states. Let's know about them. So, here was the Gandhi Sagar Dam. So, you can see the Yamuna River originating from Uttarakhand, passing through Himachal Pradesh, then Haryana, of course Delhi where it is so much polluted, then it enters Uttar Pradesh. Yeah, so we have how many states here? Uttarakhand, yes, Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh. Then in Allahabad or Prayagraj as we call it now, here Ganga, Yamuna and the mythological river Saraswati meet and make Sangam. So this is of course going to be the correct answer where we have all of them. So the correct answer should be all of the above, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Option D is the correct answer. Let's move on and talk about the next question. Recently, final approval has been given to nominate Hoysala temples in UNESCO's heritage list. Hoysala temple, of course, it is dedicated to Lord Shiva and it lies, the group of temples of Hoysala is in Karnataka. So Hoysala temple group is in western coast, Mahabalipuram temple or the shore temple, eastern coast, Bhadrachalam temple which is dedicated to Lord Ram is near the Godavari river. So we have to see the pairs which are correctly matched. If we talk about Hoysala temples, it lies in Karnataka, basically, the larger part of Karnataka. It's not at the coast. It's not a coastal temple. The group of temples do not belong to the coastal temple, although it's in the southern western region. First statement is not correct. First pair is not correct. If we talk about shore temple, of course it is in the eastern coast. This is definitely correct. That shore temple lies in the eastern coast. If we talk about the Bhadrachalam temple, it lies in the state of Telangana near the Godavari river. So here I am writing it. Near the Godavari river, we have to know that it lies in Telangana. Alright. So second and third are correct. First is not correct. Only option B will be the correct answer from here. Let's move on and talk about our next question. Before that, let's know Kollam Corporation has started bio-mining to remove the pollutants or effluents from Ashtamudi Lake. Ashtamudi is a lake in Kerala. Okay. So, because of this, we have to know that if we go from one end, assuming starting from Gujarat, the starting point is from the state of Gujarat, to the other end along the coastline of India, we have to map the coastline of India. Then which of the following water bodies will you definitely find on the way? Definitely, we have to map the coastal area. So these are the many lakes. Okay. So if we begin from Gujarat and then we have to go supposedly till here, what we will find? So before we begin, let's know about them. That Ashtamudi, Sashtamkota and Vembanad, these actually lie in Kerala. And Kerala is having a long coastline, so we have to be careful with searching them. Pulicat and Koleru. Pulicat is actually it's a coastal lake itself, and you can see it's in Andhra Pradesh. This is Pulicat. Okay, I have marked it. This is Pulicat. This is Koleru. It's also in Andhra Pradesh, but it is in the internal regions, Koleru. And this is Pulicat. So, Pulicat is of course, if we map from here, okay, there are going to be certain lakes that we are going to pass through. Pulicat is one of them, but not Koleru, because Koleru is in the inland region. So let's know about these two. Yes. Ashtamudi Lake. We are going to find Ashtamudi Lake for sure, because Ashtamudi is lying over here. So we have to know Ashtamudi and Pulicat. This is going to be one of our answers. Pulicat and Ashtamudi. So 1 and 4, wherever we see 1 and 4, we can mark those answers. Not this, 1 and 4. Here we have 1 and 4, and then we have all of the above. Alright? All of the above can also be eliminated. Why? Because 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐿 is inland. So 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡 is one of our options, and that can be eliminated. So D is eliminated. Then we have Sashtamkota and Vembanad. Vembanad will be also found because Vembanad is over here. Okay? And Sashtamkota is actually lying in the inland region. Vembanad, then we have, of course, Pulicat, and this was Ashtamudi Lake. So 1, 3 and 4 are going to be our correct answer. B option will be the correct one. Let's move on and talk about the practice question which you have to practice for the next segment. Okay? I will confirm this answer in the next episode as well. According to some reports, the situation of civil war is being created in Myanmar these days, and the army and the rebel groups have come face to face. So we have to consider the following pairs. We have to match the relief with the region. Shan Plateau, Eastern Myanmar, Mekong Delta, South China Sea, Irrawaddy Delta, Bay of Bengal, Arakan Yuma, Western Myanmar. So these are the options which you have to choose the correct answer. So that's it for today. Next time we shall meet again with another set of questions and news. Stay updated, stay safe, and thank you so much for watching.